Daddy Gamer Diaries, where we play all the games every day. Okay, uno, dos, tres. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Diego, coming at you straight from the capital city. Today on Daddy Gamer Diaries, I'm going to be talking back on 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, and letting you know why it's quickly become my favorite point-and-click adventure. What's that, you say? Point-and-click adventure, Diego? I've only heard 13 Sentinels described as real-time strategy / visual novel. Let's hit the brakes on that. First of all, when I think of visual novel, I know I'm being a little overly specific here, but when I think of visual novel, I'm generally thinking of more static backgrounds with very little animations and primarily dialogue choices. Even if you get into some more Ace Attorney style detective-y type questions, there's some interaction with your background, but for the most part, you're still engaged in dialogue choices as the thing that progresses your story forward. And that ain't what you have here in 13 Sentinels. In 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, you have two general broad components of gameplay. One is the combat, and that'll be discussed on another day. Today, we're going to be discussing what I want to call point-and-click exploration adventure. And I think it's point-and-click adventure in the very classical sense, except your cursor is your character. So you are in a beautifully hand-drawn environment for whatever chapter you're selecting. Now, this game does a fantastic job of slowly teasing out its story. The stories are told through segments of one of the 13 characters. I haven't even unlocked all 13 yet. And you can see as you're going through your character selection how far you have made it into each character's story by a percentage point. You can also see what must be accomplished in case you get to a wall in progression of that person's story. And so it's a beautiful array of choices that the player has. Now, I'm definitely obsessive compulsive. So for me, I've been going systematically, making sure that all of the characters roughly are progressing the story at kind of the same increments. And sometimes I literally get the heebie-jeebies when I see that, for example, Megumi is at 28%, let's say, and Yori is at 25%. I'm like, what? I did the same number of plays. And so, you know, who knows how it's going to play out. But that was something that caught my attention. Once you've selected your character to play the next phase in, you go to a location. And their phase might go from 2-3 locations during that sequence until that section ends. But each location is like a point-and-click adventure, world of its own. There are static things in the backgrounds that are going to be definitely impacted if you move your character alongside of it. Sometimes they're just passively active in the sense of you could be in a classroom walking by somebody, and as you're walking by a group of students, they start chatting. You don't actually ever get the chance to interact with them, but if you never walk by them, you'll never hear their discussion either. You know, it's a little like the, you know, Persona 5 Classroom, where you'd see like the little ... in the thought bubble, but it's just so enjoyable to see the aesthetic in this environment, and also just the surprises of what is it that is going to be activated by having your character walk past them.
Go ahead and place
Sometimes your character walks past and you suddenly realize that an object becomes a highlightable object, and then you can interact with that object. The real beauty in this point and click adventure style game comes in the realm of the thought cloud. So the thought cloud is the way in which you're able to recall, ponder, and consider various pieces of information. Your interaction with the environment or with another character may create an entry in the thought cloud. As you're in each individual level, you'll notice in the top right hand corner of the screen some indicators. They look kind of like, you know, battery life indicators or cell phone signal strength indicators, like the little bars. But you got to pay attention. Your top row is primarily green. Your bottom row are reds. The top row just tells you in general that if you pull up your thought cloud, there will be any potential number of items there indicated by the number of rectangles in that top row. If it's a dull green color there, it means it's one that you've already contemplated before, but it may still be relevant inside this scenario. So you might need to think about it because it may offer some information. If it's a brighter green, it means that it's a new piece of information that you haven't been able to ponder before. And if there's any indications in the bottom row, they're red. Now, the thing with the red is that it means that you're going to have to do some type of interaction. Now, it could be that you need to directly interact with an object or a person.
Nachon, my childhood friend. We went our separate ways in middle school, but we still kept writing to each other. She's the only person I really care about. I met Aiba while I was trying to find out more about Nachon. Seems she likes me. Follows me around like a damn puppy dog. Even my steeliest glare doesn't faze her. Frickin' weirdo.
Picking up a stack of papers, talking to a such and such person, but it also means you might need to interact with a person or with an object as it relates to one of the other items in the thought clouds. And you'll see that, and it activates as you're in the thought cloud menu after you've pressed X, and you can see the thought cloud things populate the screen. You move around, and if you get close enough, you will show how one of the items in the thought cloud is no longer just something you can think of in and of itself, but it becomes an interactive piece with either another person or another object or another set of circumstances. This game is a real delight because you are given the freedom and the liberty to tease out this as much as you want. There's no rush, there's no timelines, no time limits, no racing to beat the clock. Explore the level at your own perusing. Sometimes you'll realize that, like, you get to a certain set of events happening and you've got to figure out some kind of puzzle. And the puzzle is potentially that an area that wasn't going to trigger any kind of interactivity after you've gone through a certain set number of dialogue pieces then does become something that is interactive or does become something that you need to do. Those kinds of aha puzzle moments make this game so fun. And to me, like, quintessential point and click style of gaming, like fitting in the jigsaw pieces or the puzzle pieces in just the right way that you're unlocking the little magic that comes out of it. I love this game. The story itself, I don't want to go into any kind of spoilers really, because it's phenomenal. I'm only a third of the way through, I think. Most of my characters, I'm into the low 30%. I'm higher along in the combat, so I'm kind of just taking a pause and doing most of the story segments. But the story is complete love letters to sci-fi and pop culture.
Men dressed in black suits. Wait a minute. Could they really be men in black? An organization that monitors alien activity. Maybe there's a UFO that's landed near here.
You've got references to anything from Men in Black to E.T. to Terminator. And all of these references are done with, considerable amount of deference and care and thoughtfulness in terms of their execution.
Released in 1977, this was the first in a hit series from the United States. It's a dramatic sci-fi adventure taking place in a galaxy far, far away. Its popularity holds strong no matter how much time passes.
And ultimately, the repetition of story segments is something that you quickly notice, like, okay, so this is definitely a story segment that really resembles one I've previously played as another character. And as that other character, you were blind to the fact that it might be impacted or seen differently from a different character's point of view. And once you realize that that's happening, you start to notice that you're anticipating it. You're anticipating, like, okay, so here's a new situation. Ooh, and in this new situation, I see that Kisaragi is part of this platform. I can't wait until I get in her storyline the segment that's going to be involved with this event from her perspective, and what she knew that she didn't let on to that was influencing her decision.
And yet
8
the
years from
game
now,
still
you're
questions
going to call a bunch
whether
of
or not
monsters and
our
destroy the
decisions
world.
actually make any difference in the end.
Am not!
Take
I'd
this, for
never turn to
example.
the side of evil!
You're still going to do it whether you're good or evil. Sometimes things just happen.
You can't trick me! I'm not
Hold
gonna
it.
get kidnapped!
Little punk. Missed.
Or Juro, Kurabe, and the characters and the voice actors are fantastic. The story's great. I was so encaptured by the way that they found a way to create a point and click adventure in a console game where your character is your mouse on a computer. And I love it. I hope more people get a chance to play it. I'll definitely go into more about the combat stuff and maybe some individual characters along the way. But this is quickly, becoming one of my favorite Switch games. It's been a great year for my Switch playing. Not a lot of volume. Played Triangle Strategy forever, and I'm playing this. I'll probably, do everything that I can with it for, the 40, 50 hours that it will take. But the quality is absolutely there. So I hope you guys are having a great time. Enjoy your games, and I'll talk to you later.